yes.
Yeah. So if there was one production that you'd want to direct, what would it be?
Ooh, Trixie. Noise is Off.
Oh.
One of my favourite plays of all time. I saw it in London in whenever it came out, 1982, I think. I just remember rolling in the aisles, literally. I thought I was going to expire. I was laughing so much. And because it's just such a beautifully constructed thing. And I think for a director to try and pull that together, the work with the actors and the set and everything, and complete this package, and in such a way that the audience have the same experience that I remember having when I first saw it. That would be a thrill to try and do that.
It'd be a very exciting production, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Yes. So, obviously, the Cardiff Open Air Theatre Festival is in the open air. So what differences are there performing in the open air and in a building? Are there lots of differences?
Yes. Do you know what the biggest one is? You can't go to black. And for those who don't know what that means, you can't turn the lights off and create a blackout, because you're in the open air and the sky is providing a lot of your light most of the time. So I don't like blackouts anyway. I try not to use them. I think that in some ways they, dare I say, they're a bit lazy. Oh, we'll go to black here and change the scene, and then we'll bring the lights up again. So, but when you have to do that, you have to change the scenery, or you're moving from one location to another in the open air. How you do that becomes part of the performance. And I use a lot of music to try and keep the energy going from one scene into the next, and use music as change of location. So that's the main one. The other one, of course, is the light. You only get to use the stage lights in the second half, in the evening. Don't use them at all in the matinee. In the first half, you do have to be very, very inventive. You can't use lights to change location. You can't do anything like that. So yeah, that takes a lot of thought. So those are the two main things for me. Oh, and the noise. There's a lot more noise. Yeah, sirens, cricketers, or the crowd from the cricket leaving the stadium, all those sort of things you've got to cope with, and just let it happen. You can't get too wound up about it. It's just one of the things about working in the open air. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And obviously one of the main challenges with working in the open air is the rain. I mean, yes. Have you ever had to reset something or done different choreography to make this different, to take into consideration the rain?
Yeah, you keep things in the back of your mind. Certainly if you've got choreography, you work with the choreographer on a sort of alternate version, which you keep in the back of your head in case you need it. You have to be careful if there's running or moving or fighting. If there's fight choreography, you have to think about. Also, if any of the characters needs to roll around on the floor, the designer doesn't thank you. The wardrobe team certainly doesn't thank you for yes. for getting costumes absolutely soaking wet because the actor has to roll around. So you have to find sort of alternate ways of doing that. I used to think a lot more about it and sort of do wet weather versions, but actually, because it can start raining and then stop, it's sometimes difficult to work out just when these backup plans become necessary. And sometimes when you've got a really experienced cast, you just sort of need to let them deal with it. Yeah. And more often than not, they deal with it really, really well. And sometimes, certainly, it hasn't happened fairly recently, but I know that, if it rains heavily during the day, then the family show sometimes will pause a production and let the rain pass before coming back again. So that's another option. We've performed in the stand. We've brought actors up into the stand. And I think, and somebody is bound to correct me if I'm wrong, no doubt, but I think we've only completely abandoned a production once, or performed once, in all the 40 whatever it is years the festival's been going. And I think it was a matinee many years ago, not one I was involved with. So think it's only ever happened once.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're good. Doesn't matter. We get wet. Audience stay in the dry.
Yeah, they're always dry.
They're all right. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, you have had so much experience with directing Everyman in the festival. You've directed the Shakespeare, you've directed the light entertainment, you've directed the musical. Are they similar, or are there different challenges with all of them?
To be honest, I think that there's not a huge amount of difference. The process is the same. I think with the Shakespeare, I tend to start prepping earlier because it might need a bit more deeper research, or you may have to do a cut to the text, and they need to be worked out a lot earlier. With the musical, you probably working more tightly with a musical director and a choreographer, so it's a team thing that happens. But ultimately, all three are about storytelling, and the process of working with the actors is often very, very similar. It's finding the truth in something, and that doesn't matter whether you're working with the Shakespeare or the comedy, or whether an actor is performing a song. Your aim as a director is finding the truth of the moment. So in what form that occurs, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, right. Interesting. So thinking about all your time with Everyman, what has been your favourite memory of a production, or it could be something you were in or directed? What do you think is your favourite memory?
Well, I joined Everyman and to do the festival in '88, and at that time we were all residents at Dufferin Gardens, so it was like a holiday. We'd be sort of, in the bar till all hours, and then doing shows during the day. It was just glorious. So I think anyone from those days of Everyman looks back extremely fondly on those. Other memories, just random things. I mean, I remember my second production, Midsummer Night's Dream, where I had to go on. That was exciting.
Were you directing it?
Yes, I was directing it, and it was the first night I decided not to go in. Just sort of, I'll leave them to it tonight. They'll be all right. And I had a phone call about 5 p.m. going, "You're on." So that was somebody in the cast had fallen ill. So that was exciting. And Merry Wives of Windsor, all I can remember is mud. Mud from beginning to end, mud, just so much mud that it's become known as the Muddy Wives of Windsor ever since. So little things like that. There's always something good to remember about each one. Yeah.
Well, finally, we can't mention the festival without actually mentioning Blackadder.
Oh.
Now, obviously, it's very disappointing at the moment. Obviously, we can't do it, but it's important for all of our health. I mean, yep. What have you done in relation to Blackadder 2020? And how are you looking forward to Blackadder 2021? Well,
a lot of the pre-production work was well on the way. We'd cast it, great cast. I'd had meetings with the designer, so we were on the way there. I'd prepared a script. We'd even had a really great read-through with the cast, and it was fab, and everyone was really excited about it. And then everything just ground to a halt. Mm-hmm. So I haven't done very much because I sort of haven't had to. The script has gone on the shelf, and when all this is over and we're all able to meet up with each other once again, whether it's this autumn or early in the new year, I'll pull the script off the shelf, I'll get in touch with the cast, and we'll just pick up from where we left off. And so yeah, it is sad not to be doing it. I've no doubt about that. It's the first festival I've missed in a very long time, and the first time that the festival hasn't happened in all the years it's been running. But as you say, it's important, and you know what, it's just to play, and as long as everyone is safe and healthy and well, then that's the most important thing. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, thank you for talking to us today. We really, really appreciate it. Pleasure. Best wishes from everybody at Everyman, and we look forward very much to Blackadder 2021.
Yes, me too. Thank you for having me today. It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you.